At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right. Is what it is, right? It is what it is. You're not going to change my mind, though, what I'm about to say. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the one and only Patreon Network YouTube channel. I'm Ty Hudson, as most of you are fully aware. It's part of the intro. Got to do it. Yeah, thank you for being here. Thanks for stopping by the post-game show, checking it out, being a part of it, commenting. Feel free to leave any questions or comments that you have. Do me a favor, please like and share the content. Subscribe if you haven't already. We continue to grow despite some of the criticisms. We continue to grow. Discord getting stale, though. Hey, look, if you guys, as far as new members, we're getting a little stale. We're not bringing in more people. Hey, you should be there. You should join. It's active as all get out, and they're doing a pretty good job, too, I'm noticing, of keeping up with the baseball game. So, a lot of different conversations going on in our Discord. So if you guys haven't already, again, that link is provided for you down below in the description box. But I'll go ahead and just share that for you. Lot to discuss here. I don't know what was worse for Arkansas today. The fact that Tennessee it was almost like, you guys ever seen the movie Sixth Man? Probably a lot of you have never even heard of it. Go look it up on an internet movie database. My favorite, most visited website outside of, ESPN and whatever recruiting sites. It's probably the most frequented app that I look at. Go look up Sixth Man. By the way, Nolan Richardson has an appearance. The Razorbacks have an appearance in that movie. That's what Tennessee looked like shooting in the first half. Like they had God or some angels. Maybe angels in the outfield is the better comparison here for Tennessee. Like it was like they had someone else just guiding those three balls. It was incredible. I honestly have. I don't know. I can't remember the last time a home team where Arkansas was the away team where they saw someone knock down. What was it in the first half? Like they were shooting 75% in the first half. Just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So, yeah. So shout out to Patreon subscribers. We have those new, the names are there now. We got that in this morning. Look at that. J.M. Scott, Lee Gaswitz, Austin Foster, Montario Knight, Ramon Shiesty, Patrick Wendell, Bamsey Alp, Jeff Enke. Sounds like a baseball name. John Sims, Ed Hatcher, Yudwa, Brady, Brandon, Eagle, a.k.a. John, Kathleen Dreyer, who's new to, I think she joined Patreon in January, I think. Look at her sticking around. James, big man James sticking around. Preston Reedy, Kenny Woodward, Chris Joyce, Joe Venable, Roy Larimer, Andrew Gerard, John Hawes, Mark Dotson, Jenna Mays, Justin Kipper, Doug Stubbs, William Watkins, John Goodman, Kelly Marie, Anthony White, Randall Hunt, George Rector, Timothy Wisent, Daniel Hadley, Tyler Edmondson. I wanted to go over all those names because I just wanted to give you guys. I know someone's gonna bitch about that. Someone's gonna, oh, we don't care about the names. Whatever. I'm doing my thing. I'm showing my appreciation for those people who are Patreon supporters. Again, don't forget, if you haven't already, link your Discord to your Patreon, and you'll have access to a hidden page, and you'll also have the cool green name. Yeah, a lot to digest after that one. It was kind of, let's just not kid ourselves. It was, that first half was just disgusting to watch if you were the opposing team, which we all were. There might be a few Tennessee Vols floating around in chat somewhere. Look, man, you got to tip your cap. Those shots were contested. Some of them weren't even great looks, whether they were contested or not. Some of those guys, I was reading some of Tennessee fans, some of their comments, and they were saying that some of those shots that they were making were outside of those guys, like what they would normally do and where they would normally take their shots on the floor. They were just knocking down everything, and it took that to beat Arkansas. Make no mistake about it. If they don't have that hot of a first half, Arkansas wins this thing 6-7 points the second half. Like I said, you're not going to change my mind on that. The second half, Arkansas slowed things down. They brought Tennessee down into the mud. And they were the better team, and Tennessee was the better team in the first half. Arkansas was the better team in the second half. But it took Tennessee knocking down every damn thing under the sun. It wasn't just 3-point shots. It was those 15-footers, 15, 14-footers. They were hitting everything. And Tennessee is undefeated at home. I know, like I told you guys, I took the Hogs. I have no shame in it. And that second half is kind of what I thought we would see the entire game. We just didn't. And it also didn't help that Tennessee was just making everything, including contested shots. There were some mismatches at times, and obviously not having Adese Toney on the floor, I do think had an impact on this game, especially with how tight the game got in the second half. Listen, this game could still be being played right now in overtime. Well, maybe not, but had JD Notae not thrown that ball, I don't know what he was doing. This team is confusing on breakaways. When they have all the momentum, and here we go, they've got a breakaway moment where something big could happen. They seem to, not all the time, but I would argue about 50% of the time, they find a way to mess it up. They're not good at finishing at the rim. And when they go ice cold, they can go ice cold. But, the crazy part is in the first half, they honestly shot pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't, outside. I think they shot 45% most of the first half outside the 3-point range. Missing free throw shots is what also hurt Arkansas. They were not good at the free throw line, especially in the first half. I think they made up for that mostly in the second half. I thought Jalen Williams, and we didn't talk enough about this in Discord, at least I didn't see it. I kind of thought Jalen Williams just, again, he just pumped the brakes and he just didn't look himself defensively. We've now seen that a couple of times. I hope that this isn't a trend moving forward where he's giving up easy buckets, like that down low. Now, he didn't have help at times. He kind of needed to get bailed out a couple times, and there was no help there for him. But, then again, he's your 6'10" guy on the floor. If he can't do it, who else can? We also saw quite a bit of Kamani Johnson play along with Jalen Williams on the floor, both those guys at the same time. I'm going to say this, man, Wade and Kamani, outside of Wade not knowing how to score around the rim, I'm telling you, man, there's too many guys on this. It's so crazy to me how much they resemble the 2019 team at times. You remember that. Ethan Henderson, none of those guys. Hell, even for a little while, Mason Jones, no one could figure out how to finish around the rim. Couldn't make layups to save their lives. which hasn't been their issue. It's just mostly been putbacks and just finding ways to finish. How often have we seen them rebound their own missed shots 2-3 times in a row and come away with absolutely nothing despite back-to-back offensive rebounds? You do better at that today. Hell, you probably win this game, because that happened on at least 2 different, maybe 3 different occasions on 3 different offensive possessions for the Razorbacks. There's a lot here we can complain about, right? We can go on and on. Chris Likes didn't play his best game, but I thought overall did a decent job matched up with Ziegler. People continue to complain about this guy every time he has the ball in his hands. Today, probably somewhat rightfully so. He wasn't that great. I mean, Likes definitely struggled turning the ball over. KK got to play, and then what did he do? What did KK do when he got on the floor? 3 fouls, 3 turnovers within like 5 minutes. You guys keep complaining about him not seeing the floor, and yet when I see him on the floor, okay, he's had his moments where the offense flows a little bit better, but we've seen that on the amount of times that he's on the floor, which isn't a lot. I agree with that. He still makes more mistakes than he does good for this team, and you could say the same about Likes early on in the year. Likes cleaned a lot of that up until these last couple of games, where I think he's starting to trend back into a place he doesn't want to be. But overall, when KK has been on the floor, he's not made the most of his opportunities. Guys, I don't understand the obsession with KK. I don't get it. He, again, costly turnovers. He got into foul trouble like that, and that's not the first time we've seen that. I'd be okay if he didn't touch the floor again. I'd be perfectly fine with it. I just don't. I'm not seeing it. You know, I'm a kind of guy, it's like, prove me wrong, and then I'll buy into you. I did that with JD Note and Chris Likes earlier in the year. They both have kind of turned their game around. Likes, obviously, it took Musselman cutting his minutes down and bringing him off the bench. And I've done that with Devo Davis. Devo has turned his game around defensively. Somehow he's played better. He's had his moments where he's coming off the bench and he can knock down an opportunistic three-pointer every once in a while. He'll have his games where he'll come out and get 10, 12 points, maybe a couple assists, limit his turnovers, get some quality production on the floor. But with KK, I just don't see it. And I think in the first half, they got pretty desperate. Tony obviously not on the floor. That really caused some issues. And I know, like, yeah, their contested shots they're making them. I get it. But they're also making some pretty easy floaters. They got 2 or 3 of those in the first half. That's where Tony could really help out. And then you saw it in the second half. So if anyone thought that Tony would have no impact on today's game, I don't think you've watched Tony enough. I think you need to go back and watch Odis Tony. You talk about contested shots. And his on-the-ball defense, like, that dude is legit a great defender. I think there have been games this year, I would argue several games, where he was the best defender on the floor no matter the team. That's his level of defense. So if you thought maybe between him and, I get it, JD Note and Devo have been great defensively. Likes lately has been better. Again, watch this game with Ziegler. Not a perfect performance because Ziegler's a baller, but I thought Likes did enough to interrupt his game. But, yeah, they needed Tony today without a doubt. Arkansas beats Tennessee on a neutral court, and they probably beat them by 10, 12, 14 points. They're a better team. Tennessee, you walked into a hornet's nest, which we all knew that. We talked about that, and I told you guys my confidence in my prediction was low because I knew that this would be the case. I knew that you were walking into something that was going to be tough. But I felt like what we saw in the second half, I felt like we were going to see in the first half, and it wasn't the case. That's not what happened. And Tennessee just caught fire. They shot, again, they're not a team that takes 29 shots outside, but they are a high percentage 3-point team. And when they catch fire, they'll continue to just knock them down. And that's exactly what they did. They were on fire with their 3-ball. Shahid Mustafa says KK is not quite ready. I agree, Shahid. I think his potential is there. I think he could be terrific, and who knows? We might call on him in the SEC tournament if we get some guys banged up or tired. We might see him, but I don't know that he earned any more minutes. I would argue he probably lost minutes because of his performance today. So he's in negative minutes now. That's where he's at. And that sucks for him because I do think his ceiling is high. I think he's capable of coming out on the floor, grabbing 8, 9, 10 quality, high productive minutes. And not only that, but the offense can, and we've seen tidbits of this where the offense can flow pretty good with him when he's on the floor, when he's moving the ball around. We have seen it, just haven't seen it enough. And again, I'm not going to argue with anybody who says, well, he hasn't been really given the opportunity. But I'll say it again. The opportunities he has had, he's squandered them. So he only has himself to blame. KK needs more development. A little more, I would argue a lot more. Ty, do you think Tennessee knocking down everything made us look worse? Made us look worse than we were actually playing in the first half? I think it was a little bit of both. I do think defensively it wasn't bad. Like the on the ball defense was honestly there, and they didn't get shook up too much on those, on the outside screens. Tennessee just knocked down everything. I really don't know that I look back on this game and say anything. What I took away from it was Tennessee just caught red hot fire like they've never done. And they are good at home. Again, they've never lost at home. I'm pretty sure that first half was the best first half 3-point. I think that was a career or a season high for them shooting in the first half. I could be wrong. I'm sure they've had another game where they shot similar. And again, I haven't watched other games, but just based on what, content I could find on the matter, I don't think they shot anything like that. I mean, it took angels in the outfield kind of performance in the first half for them to win this game. Take away, bring that number down to like even just 10%. They don't win this game. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. They did what they did, and they won the game. That's what matters at the end of the day. They did enough to win. If this were Arkansas, if the shoe were on the other foot, we'd say, yeah, we did it, and that's why we won. Hats off to them. I don't think Tennessee's the better team. Again, I think Arkansas beats them. I mean, hell, they beat them by 10 at home, although that was a fight. It was a scrappy fight, and I said then that score didn't really reflect what happened on the floor because Tennessee is a great defensive team, and they're deep. They got guys into foul trouble, and you didn't see them panic. How many guys were on the floor with 4 fouls? Like 3, 4 guys? They didn't panic. They could just go to the next guy. I mean, they're deep, and that's why I think they could go on a pretty good run. Tennessee's a good team. I think they're behind Arkansas, but they're a good team. They really are one of the better 4 teams in this conference. Today showed me that Arkansas is the best team in the SEC. I don't care what anyone says. This is a Final Four team. I agree 115%. I'm off them being an Elite Eight. I now believe they are a Final Four caliber team. And I'm not just saying that because of anything those announcers said. I said going into this game, Arkansas was an in-between Elite Eight Final Four team. That's where I had them. Somewhere in between there. Today showed me. We knew they didn't let go of the rope, but my God, they were down 24 points. Most other teams struggle to not let go of that rope. And I would argue even some of the teams I like in the Sweet 16 Elite Eight would probably have lost this game by double digits or more. I think there are several teams that would have been just absolutely destroyed and have a really hard time, if not completely fail, at making this a ball game in the second half the way the Hogs did. It was terrific. We can go over numbers all we want, but the numbers do not show what we witnessed on that floor. And that's without Tony. That's with a couple of guys playing bad. That's JD Notae, that's where I would argue your biggest issue was JD Notae's shot selection in the first half. He would either dribble, drive, and not really try to kick the ball around, do anything but what Muss has coached him to do. And yet they found a way to fight to get not only back in it, but to damn near win the game. Yeah, I think they're a Final Four caliber team. Now, like I said a year ago, now we're getting into SEC tournament play and NCAA tournament play. It's a whole new ballgame. Matchups are still going to matter. I think they matter less, maybe even less than what they did to the team a year ago. But it's a different ballgame. I could sit here and tell you I think they're a Final Four caliber team. Does not mean they even make it to the Sweet 16. They could get knocked out in the second round. All it takes is for someone to catch fire the way Tennessee did. Now, obviously, you're going to be somewhere around the country. It's going to be neutral court, although maybe some people, their fans are going to travel, and it could be a more hostile territory. You have to consider that depending on who gets in, what bracket, what city you're playing in, what area, what region you're playing in. But it's a different ballgame in postseason. I think their caliber, the talent, the coaching, they are a Final Four team. They could get knocked out in the second round. Again, all it takes is we've seen some horrific play from this team this year. Even on their hot streak, we've seen them have some pretty not so great halves. In postseason play, that could absolutely burn you. Now, defense travels, as I've been saying for a while now, and as we saw in the second half, defense absolutely travels. And I feel pretty confident that no matter the deficit, they're good enough that they're going to cut into it. They're going to chip away at it. And if you disagree, that's fine, but I would argue go back and watch this game. Go back and watch any of these games in their run here, the last 14, 15 games. It's been nothing short of incredible. This loss hurts, but we were going to lose eventually, rather lose now. I mean, I don't know that it hurts. I don't know what you mean. Like, sucks, I guess, but I feel even better. I mean, I feel pretty damn good. I was so not confident in my pick. I mean, I had Arkansas by 2. I was confident but not confident, right? I was on the fence. Like I told you guys, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to make a guess because I felt like it could go either way. I felt like they did exactly what I thought they would do. I just thought we would have seen more of it in the first half, and I did not expect – again, I just didn't expect Tennessee to do what they did in that opening half, regardless of them being at home or whatever. They shot lights out and were missing Tony and only lost by – well, they lost by 4. Don't tell me I got that score wrong. Hold on. Yeah, 78-74. They lost by 4. Don't do that. I was about to freak out. I'll be livid if we drop in the polls. Yeah, they have no business dropping. Now, you know the way these net rankings work. They probably will drop in net rankings. Wouldn't shock me at all. Likes deserves a pass today. Started our comeback. Dude, Likes, I mean, he had a nice his first defensive possession off the bench. He had a steal. Shit, my bad for it. Yeah, you had me tripping, man. I was about to panic because I was like, man, I got to redo that thumbnail and everything. It's a strange feeling. I'm actually excited about a loss, 24-point deficit, and Vols shooting unconsciously. Yeah, man, it was like you remember the shot by JD Note where he just throws it up and he makes it with that wild behind the back shot. It felt like they could have done that outside and still scored. It was just ridiculous. I think this. Stephen Brindley says, I think this fuels us up for the tourney. Yeah, I don't know how any of those guys are hanging their heads on either side of the floor, Tennessee or Arkansas. I don't know how anybody's hanging their heads after this game. Tennessee, maybe because of their second half performance. If you're a Tenor fan, and I haven't had an opposing fan in my DMs for a while, maybe I'm taking it too easy on the opposing fans. I don't know. I'll just say this. They shot lights out in the second half. You played like booty cheeks. You played terrible. If they play that way in the second half, they're going to be one and done in the tournament, in the SEC and the NCAA tournament. It was bad, but you got to look at who you played, son. Got to look at who you played. You played the best defense in the conference. Not you, us. That's right. That Razorback defense was legit in the second half, and then you couldn't make your shots. Arkansas had to miss free throws, and J.D. Note had to throw the damn ball to Mars or trying to throw it back to Fayetteville. I don't know what the hell he was doing. That's what it took for you to win today. Just keep that in mind, son. Should have lost. You played poor enough in the second half that you should have lost, but you played good enough in the first half that you won. That was your again. No need to feel bad either team. Arkansas's defense in the first half wasn't bad. It really wasn't. All right, let's go to the numbers here. Let's see. Can I refresh? Are they going to give me minutes? They are going to give me minutes. Here we go. Again, take these numbers with a grain of salt. They change all the time. But I would argue that this was probably Jalen Williams. I mean, again, this is probably his second or third performance in this 14-game run where he just did not look that great. But then again, he came close to a double-double, but he wouldn't have it today. But we'll start with Tennessee first. Tennessee had 3 of their starting 5 in double digits, Vescovi, Chandler, and James. James would foul out. Chandler played with 4 fouls late. So did Plavsic. Can't say that guy's name. Plavsic. He had 4 fouls and only 6 points. Hatfield had 7 points. Their leading scorer was actually tied. Vescovi and Chandler both had 15. And then that Ziegler, who came off, again, what he always does, he comes off the bench and he gets 13 points. He had 6 assists. Now, that's just good play. You can't look at someone who racks up assists and blame the guy defending him. That's a case of him just being a smart ball player. He had 5 rebounds too, but he made 13 points. Overall, he shot 4 of 12. He shot 4 of 12, and I'm going to tell you why. It's that guy likes. That's why he shot 4 of 12, and he was 2 of 5 outside. He wasn't bad outside shooting. They shot 46% from the floor, 23 of 50 overall. They were 12 of 18. Remember, they started off in the first half, 75%. They then fell, like, my God, 66%. I mean, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. But they only took 18 shots. 12 of 18. That's I think about their average last night when Arkansas played them the first time. I think they did shoot about 19 attempts per game, if I remember correctly. Then they went really bad at the free throw line. Both teams shot the exact same percentage according to ESPN at the moment. 20 of 30 for Tennessee, so they shot 66.7% overall. They got quite a bit of production from their bench. I mean, they were 20-plus points from their bench. About 12, let's see, 5, 10, 12 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. They had just 6. You want to know why you came back in this game, or you want another reason why? You were plus 10 in offensive rebounds. But you're only plus 4 in total rebounds. You were 37 to their 33. They racked up assists. They had 17 assists, but they turned the ball over 17 times. Arkansas didn't do much better in that category. But, yeah, you've got to give a lot of credit to Likes, the way he dealt with Ziegler. Ziegler's the kind of guy who can get 20, 21 points off the bench. I mean, he absolutely is that caliber of player. He ended up with 29 minutes. Okay. Arkansas played. I think they ended up rotating. I think it was all 9 players were in full rotation in the first half, and that includes Kamani, Jackson Robinson, KK, and Likes. Devo started today, and we know that without Tony. I still think had Tony played, I don't know that you would have seen a couple of these. I don't know how deep they would have gone today because, again, Tony has a certain level of expertise, and it's not like anyone else can duplicate what he does at his position. Jalen Williams, Wade, Devo, Amude, and J.D. Note were your starting 5. Whoever picked J.D. Note with 20 points, you're going to get the XP bonus. I don't know that anybody got the score right, but someone's going to get, I think it's 15,000 points in Discord, so congratulations if anyone made that pick. I didn't look. Amude, once again, no shocker, no surprise, 15 points, 3 rebounds, and a steal. J.D. Note had 3 steals, 4 assists, 20 points. He is your MVP of the game for me, for the Hogs. He's your MVP. Talking about J.D. Note. Amude with 15 points. Jalen Williams, 9 points, 1 turnover, 1 assist, 7 rebounds. That's a bad day for him. Most other players at that position, at the 4 or 5 spot, that's a good day. That's a pretty good day. For him, that's like, I could have done better. That's just the level that he's played at. KK Robinson, 9 minutes on the floor, 1 of 2 overall shooting. Oh, my bad. He had 4 fouls. I thought he had 3. 4 fouls, 3 turnovers, but he did have a couple assists. He had a couple of rebounds, 2 defensive rebounds, but just 2 points. Yeah, I don't know. The KK fans, I don't know what hill you're dying on here. It's not a very good one. And Chris Likes, despite the 2 turnovers. Now, that's not bad considering the man had 25 minutes. Chris Likes, not only did I think he did a pretty good job against Ziegler, all the hatred this guy gets in our Discord, and I'm going to call it out every time because it's ridiculous. This man he did foul out, and we can talk about that last foul because that was the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever seen. 15 points, 3 assists, and 3 steals. And he got 25 minutes on the floor. Thank you, Chris Likes. You are our bench MVP, despite what a few people on our Discord seem to think about the guy. He went out and did pretty well. Not an elite game. He did better than I thought, I'll be honest. This is the first I looked at the points. I didn't think he had 15. I thought he had 8. He ended up shooting 4 of 7 overall, 3 of 5 outside, and perfect at the free throw line. Kamani Johnson played his rear end off, 6 points. His numbers never reflect what that guy does on the floor. They never reflect what he does on the floor. No turnovers, 2 steals, only 2 fouls. I'm a little surprised by that considering he had 24 minutes. I figured he'd have 4. I thought he'd get into foul trouble. He never got into real serious foul trouble. 6.8 rebounds. I mean, this man was 4 points, 2 rebounds away from having his first career double-double at Arkansas. I think as far as non-stats, if you want to talk about the guy who gets MVP for not having great stats, and again, that's not bad. 8 rebounds is pretty solid. I mean, he led the team in rebounds, so maybe you have to combine the two, right? But he's your doesn't show it on the stat sheet MVP, and I think he's trending in a great direction. I thought Wade was pretty good defensively too. So there you have it. Again, you had 11 assists, 15 turnovers. Again, you're -4 there. You're just not going to win games, neutral court or on the road, when you're -4 in that category. But I think Arkansas actually has one in that, only because of how great their defense is. But 15 turnovers is you just don't want to be there. You'd like to be, even on the road, you'd like to be 11 or maybe 11 or 10 or fewer, right? Ideally, 9 or 10 fewer is great, but yeah, they turned it over too much, and I would argue a lot of it was just carelessness with the ball. But Tennessee not much better, 17 turnovers. They had 5 blocks, 7 steals to Arkansas's 9. So exactly what else is Likes supposed to do there? Likes started the comeback. Exactly. Likes. I think what this is, it's carried over for people based on what he did early on in the year. Some people have to get it in their mind that players are capable of changing. And I think not only if you look at him, not even on the stat sheet, just watch him. The way he guarded Ziegler today it wasn't great. It was pretty good. I don't think anyone else on that roster could defend Ziegler the way that he did. Love Kamani's effort on both ends, but his free throw shooting sets a bad tone in general. Auburn won. Okay, so what does that mean? I just have not spent enough time over. I think had we won, you get a piece of it. Let's see. Razorbacks hang on, my stupid mouse. These little side buttons piss me off. These little side buttons. These little, you see where your thumb sits? And all it takes is my fat thumb to click that back little button there, and it takes my page completely. It makes me go, it's back. It's the back button. Razorbacks will play the winner of the number 5 seed versus the number 12 or 13 seed winner at 1 p.m. on ESPN next Friday. That's coming from Ty Richardson. So regardless, I guess, right? I like Likes, but he could be defensive liability because of his height. He can be, but he's a nightmare matchup against guys like Ziegler. And he's faced a couple of those guys. He's faced 2 or 3 of those guys this year, and he can be locked down. He really can. Sausage fingers. Yeah, man. Yeah, look at those. Look at that. Maybe I've got the 10-inch hands that Burks wish he had, huh? I'm just kidding. I do have, bruh. On the radio, they said there should have been a foul on JD's last 3 attempt. Was it close or good no call? I'd have to go back and watch. I don't know. I started on my AAU team and then sprained my ankle. Oh, okay. Let's see. We had so many missed free throws. Yeah, both teams did not do very good at the free throw line. Neither team did. I can't believe Trey Wade missed that wide open layup. You can't believe it? I mean, that's kind of been the thing for him all year. And that, again, that's where Tony excelled in the beginning of the year. And then he kind of dropped off, and then he lost, he would start, but then, you just didn't see them set up anything for him. They didn't set up anything for him, and he was your only guy that could get those semi-easy putbacks. He was the only guy you felt pretty good around the iron. I think today he could have been a pretty big. I think today he would have been big. In fact, I would argue that if he played today, it's either a very, very close, even closer loss, like a 1-point loss, 2-point loss, or it's a win or overtime. I think that's the kind of impact Tony would have had today. I really do. That JD turnover in the end hurt. It killed you. It's why you lost. He lost you the game. And I know you're not supposed to say things like that, but I'm not on the radio. Hell, Musselman doesn't even know I exist. And even if he did, I don't care. He lost you the game. When he threw that ball out of bounds like that specific, I shouldn't say, I don't want to frame it that way. I don't want to frame it that JD Note lost you the game, but that possession lost you the game. If that's a little bit better to say, and you're still not supposed to say that. Like, you're not supposed to say, well, that one possession. What about those series before, and what about what happened in the first half, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but what it came down to in that moment, that possession, which could have led to completely changing the way that game finished out in those final minute or whatever it was, that possession lost you the game. You know, it is what it is. And I know someone's going to bark at me for that. I don't care. I stand by it. We will only go down to 17 at worst in rankings. Oh, I don't know. I think rankings, AP top 20. I don't care about the AP top 25 at this point in the year. I think too many people are obsessed with it, and I'm not. Like, let's talk about just where you're at in seeding. Let's talk about the SEC tournament, and let's go forward. That's what I care about. Ty, we will still, let's see, we still somehow didn't let up 80 points. Yeah, I thought the way that game was going, I mean, they scored 50 in the first half. There's a lot of plays throughout the game that could have changed the outcome. Yeah, but again, that specific possession is why you lost the game. That specific possession, what happened on that possession is, I just believe that's why you lost. I think it changed the entire momentum of that final minute. It changes everything. You don't have to foul. You don't have to rely on shots at the line. You know, it changes the entire way that game's played out. And I would argue I think that possession, I have argued that. That's exactly what I'm arguing, is I think that possession is why you lost. Are there any more top 16 reveals by the selection committee? I have no idea. How many threes did Tennessee make? Like 15. They ended up shooting 12 of 18 outside. Now, they took fewer shots outside because Arkansas's perimeter defense tightened up even more, and there's a little bit different rotation on the floor. You know, I thought the way they came out in the second half was incredible. I mean, if you look at the stat tracker on Gamecast or the game flow, it's like Tennessee's up here, Arkansas's down here, and then it just does this. You know, it's just incredible defense, man. And you play even half as good, because I don't think defensively they played as good in the first half. Now, I know it sounds obvious to say that, but again, Tennessee made a lot of contested shots. But I think the matchup differences and just kind of how Arkansas, how much more hustle there was. You know, they closed the gap at the 3-point line. Like, there were no semi-open shots in the second half, and it caused Tennessee to have different looks. They had to do different things. They had to settle for 15-foot floaters. They had to get points at the line. They had to drive a little bit more. They had to change their scheme entirely. And I think had Arkansas had done that to begin with, there would not have been a gap. But then again, it's hard to make that case too, because they shot more. They made more threes than twos. They shot better at 3-point range than they did at the free throw line. I mean, that's incredible. That's just insane. How well they shot was insane. The fact that they finished at 67% is crazy. And we're not talking about 9, 10 attempts. We're talking about, 18 or whatever it was. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. So they don't start off like that. It's a different ballgame. But I do think they changed up how they played. They changed up the matchups just a little bit. They solidified their rotation in the second half. And they played with a little bit more urgency in the second half. So many loose ball hustles. You know, I say that. There's probably only 2 the entire game, but maybe there's 3. A little bit more, you look at the rebounding. They rebounded better in the second half. They shot better looks. Maybe it was offense. Maybe we can talk about the offense too. The offense was better. I thought their shot selection in the second half was so much better. Outside of the corner pocket threes, you guys know how I feel about the corner pocket threes. I think they did make one, but they do this every game, especially if they're trailing. They start to settle, and especially Amude, you don't have as much concern with taking them, but that's still his lowest shot is the outside, or at least it was up until the last several games. I'd love to see that stat. I'd love to see that. Maybe Zimmerman could get a hold of it. I'd love to see where his highest percentage is shooting outside, because I know he could make corner threes. I know he could make up at the top of the arch threes, but that corner pocket three is the hardest three to take outside of the half court shot. It's insane. And we settle for like 4 a game, and I don't understand why. You might make 1. Devo does it too, and Devo really struggles out there, at least from what I can recall. You can look at the shot chart. Actually, I've never actually taken a good look at this. I've looked at it before, but it doesn't tell you. It's kind of hard to navigate it. Okay, you could pull up. Oh, this is pretty neat. You can actually pull up the players by team. What's it say about? Where is Stanley Umude? Okay. He did make 1 corner pocket three out of how many, though? So he took 2. No, he took 3. He was 1 for 3, and then he made a wing 3. Stanley Umude made 3-point jumper, assisted by JD Note. Yeah, JD actually, that was a nice feed too. But then he missed at the rim. Good Lord, that's the number we should look at, right? That's the number we should look at. Is how many misses around the iron. It's just going to be all circles with nothing filled in, because that indicates a missed shot. They were so bad, and they have been most of the year. Yeah, no, okay. He took a lot more shots outside, and that's where he likes to shoot, is around that edge. But back in that corner pocket, it looks like that the very corner pocket. He was 0 for 1. And then he kind of went up to the wing, and he shot a couple, and he made them. He made a 15-footer, and he had 1 shot down in the iron. I wish you could just look at. Here we go, all players. Oh man, I wish I could blow this up, and I would totally share my screen, but I can't blow it up. Yeah, there's a lot of empty circles down. Well, there's quite a few made circles though, so maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought. But yeah, obviously Tennessee got that dub today because of how well they shot outside. It was pretty good. The SEC should have 8 teams in the tournament, hands down. I think they'll end up with 6. But I think you could make the case for 7, and then if you really want to try hard, you might be able to make the case for 8. But I feel like you're going to end up with 6. You may not be able to blame loss on one single player, but one single play can often turn the L into a W. Yeah, and how many times do we say that, right? When a guy makes a shot, and you could go back and look and go, well, that shot, that's why you won the game. You could do the opposite, or you could do the same thing on the opposite end, on the defensive end. Top of the 8th, Hogs up 4-2. I mean, I'm glad they're winning, but I'm not real thrilled with what I saw in game 1. It's just Razorback baseball. I mean, look, man, you can't judge anything. You can't judge an entire year yet. There's a lot of baseball left. A lot of overreacting, but I'm going to tell you, their hitting is still concerning. I wasn't here yesterday to talk about Burks' 40, but people overreacting. In-game speed is so much different than a 40, says Ash. Best shooting percentage performance against Arkansas since 1986, South Carolina. There you go. Underground Vault giving us the down low here. Best shooting percentage performance against Arkansas since 1986. And by the way, this is 2 of your 7 losses. 2 of your 7 losses came when you didn't have JD Note or you didn't have Tony. When you didn't have Tony, you didn't have JD Note, you lost 2 of those games. 2 of those 7. Think about that, man. I mean, they're fine. I think they're in really good shape. What do you guys think? Moving forward, are you concerned moving forward at all? We also have a poll on the community page about Arkansas baseball. Are you panicking yet? Is it too early to panic? And I would argue it's too early to panic, but there were quite a few people who hit the panic button, and I mean, I'm just curious how everyone's feeling about baseball, for those of you who care about baseball. I realize when Arkansas baseball's losing or not looking as good as you thought they were, just no one really cares, Not concerned at all. We could win the SEC tournament, says Kate Dreyer. Obviously, we could have made our free throws, but really, what else could we have done in the first half to change that game? We did everything right, and a couple plays cost us in the red. Yeah, I mean, again, it's hard for me to look at the first half and go, Arkansas did a bunch of things wrong. Tennessee just made a lot of contested shots, no matter who was guarding them. I do think the performance in the second half was better because of the change up with their rotation. I think they settled down. They were a little bit quicker, outside. You didn't see any open shots. I don't think there was a single open shot in the second half. There might have been maybe 2 in the first half, maybe 3 if you go back and watch it. I do think there was a little bit bigger and better sense of urgency. Clearly, Musselman made some adjustments. And that's basketball. That's sports. That's like all sports, football and basketball especially. You make those halftime adjustments, and we could sit here and go, well, woulda, coulda, shoulda, blah, blah, blah. What happened, happened. Tennessee played some fantastic basketball in that first half. Ain't nobody beating them. Nobody, not Captain Planet and all those kids with the rings could have beat Tennessee in the first half. Earth, wind, fire. Doesn't matter, man. They were shooting lights out. It was kind of ridiculous. By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet. Didn't matter, man. Captain Planet was going to get balled on. They were knocking down in threes. This is ridiculous. We would have to be sublime in the line. Oh, at the line, hit those damn layups. Yeah, and again, you shoot better at the free throw line, you probably win this game. I mean, that's how close it was. And you could say that about a lot of opponents that Arkansas's played too. Like, had they done this, that, or the other, they could have beaten Arkansas. Blah blah blah. You could. You just have to tip the cap. Tennessee was better overall today, and they won the game. Neutral site, Arkansas's beating that ass. I'm sorry. Arkansas's beating them. The Planeteers. That's right. Games like this, you kind of can point to 1 or 2 plays that made the W or the L. Yep. Must adjustments made second half score 45-28. They just completely outplayed Tennessee in the second half. Tennessee outshot you in the first half. You outplayed them in the second half. Defense does travel. It traveled today. It just got off the plane in the second half. That's what happened. But just terrific energy, effort in the second half. Way better on both ends. Way better shot selection. And shots didn't rim out. How many shots rimmed out for Arkansas in the first half? 3, 4? Should have gone in. It just didn't. Give those boys some rest, too. That's right. Okay. That is going to do it. We'll be back on – gotta get mixed up. We'll be back on Monday. We'll get caught up. We'll probably go over some of the combine stuff a little bit, the NFL combine. We'll go over this game again, and we'll discuss the SEC tournament and so on and so forth. It's going to be an exciting week. We're getting closer and closer to spring camp. It's right around the corner. It's going to be exciting. So, again, shout out to Patreon supporters. Look at you guys. Look at you. So awesome. We fell just short of 40. You remember not long ago, like 2 months ago, I was like, man, let's get to 30. Look at us. We're climbing up to 40. You guys are just rock stars, and you know that. Good game. Fans were a little, and I'm not going to lie, I was not happy with what I saw and what Tennessee was doing. I wasn't happy. We all have our moments. We're only human. But terrific second half, and it made you feel a lot better moving forward. I know it did for me. So I will see you again Monday. Mondays are 12. Remember, Mondays are 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock Monday. We'll be live and again get caught up on whatever there is to be caught up about. So we may do a Discord live today. I don't think I said that. We may do a Discord live. If you guys want to be there, we'll talk about baseball. I have a feeling we'll go into a little bit about baseball. We'll talk about this game some more. I'll answer any questions you guys have. I don't have a time yet. I'll let you know for those of you who are in Discord. If you're not there, you need to be there. A lot of good times, good stuff, good fun. And we'll also go over who won the I know someone had to get some points today, so we'll dole out those points. So woo pig, and I'll see you guys maybe later today. If not, Monday at 12 o'clock. Go Hogs.